Well, good morning and welcome. My name is Christine Hall. I'm the founder of the MAWB, and I'm so super excited to have Celia here. She is going to present to us a session today on Excel. She is a Microsoft Excel certified trainer, certified by Microsoft. She also leads an entire Microsoft community and has an amazing YouTube channel. So definitely the person we want to learn from when it comes to Microsoft Excel. She has actually, I was going to say you've presented to us before, but you have not, Celia. You have not presented.
No, yeah, I will present now if you want.
Yes, I thought maybe you had presented last fall, but you did not. So welcome. We're excited to put your skills to work for us. And what did you say? Put the messy spreadsheets behind us?
Yeah, I wish I could do that in 40 minutes.
Yes, I know.
It won't be possible, but I think I have some tips that may be helpful, at least for some of you, depending on what you already know about Excel and how you use it. Let me see if I can. Yes, I'm going to share my screen
Okay,
here.
so I'm going to make you co-host.
Okay.
So now you should be able to share your screen.
Let's see. I'm sharing there. In fact, let me just put here. Okay, let me see if I'm sharing I'm not sure if I'm sharing the correct one. It's just 3 slides here and then.
Okay.
Okay, can you see? You're seeing the contact slide? Okay.
So
So
no, we're not. Hang on one second. I'm actually going to make you host. This problem happened last week.
It's because I was using the presenter view, I guess. So screen 1.
Try
screen
now.
2. Share. What about now? Okay, good. Thank you. It's too many screens, too many stuff. Okay, so for the series today, for the session today, I chose this title, Putting an End to a Messy Excel Spreadsheet for Good. And like I was saying, it will all depend. I won't be able to, to give you all the tips and the instructions to get rid of what can make a messy spreadsheet. It can be many things. But if you read the summary for the session today, I will be focusing on situations where we have our information spread across too many files, too many folders, and then we need to summarize that information. And it's difficult to get the data that we need. So that will be my focus today. We will get there. Just a little bit about myself. So I'm original from Portugal. I came to Canada in 2013, so just 8 years, completed 8 years here. Before there in Portugal, I used to work as a high school mathematics teacher. I did that for about 20 years before coming here. And when I moved here, I didn't want to start a teaching career from scratch again. And long story short, I ended up working more with Excel than I was used to. I used Excel at, I could say, a basic level, a more basic level for all those years as a teacher. And I had the opportunity to start learning in more depth, including programming and how to automate tasks in Excel. I did that the first time for a company, a bookkeeper's company. They had already some systems in Excel, but they were still doing a lot of things manually. And the owner asked me if I could automate those procedures. And I said yes, without knowing how. And then I looked for how to accomplish that. So I started studying a lot and taking courses. And in fact, one of the best things to learn is to have the opportunity, as I did, to have a real problem on hands to solve. So I was there for about 1 year and a half, and then I automated pretty much everything they needed, and I was not interested in working as a bookkeeper. So I moved out, another person learned about what I was doing. I did the same process for another company. I was with them for about 18 months, learning about their processes. They were running the company out of Excel manually. because they had tried a couple of programs developed for their industry. In this case, this company was buying and selling and renting shipping containers. So they had to track all their inventory, what's coming in, what's going out, where is it going, from which yard is it going to be picked up, all that. And they were tracking all that with spreadsheets. They had tried a few softwares, but the softwares were always missing something that they wanted to offer to their clients, some kind of option that the program didn't have, and they always went back to Excel. So again, I was there learning their processes and automating the procedures they were familiar already with. So the procedures that the company created for themselves according to the way they like to work and offer their services to their clients, and automated all that. And by automation, in this case, we are talking about moving information automatically from one file to another. If I need to find the client's address to create an invoice, Excel does that by itself and saves the file by PDF and creates an email out of Outlook and attaches the PDF there and sends the email. So all that can be done with Excel. So that I started doing that. And again, the type of work that I do usually comes to an end because I automate stuff, and if it's well done, then I'm not needed there anymore. It's automated. I can probably every now and then they may need some maintenance, or they may want to add some new features, but pretty much the project is complete. So, and at that point, I realized there was a market for this type of services. And not only that, it's also what I really like to do. I don't like entering data in Excel. I don't like analyzing data or trying to find the reasons why this amount is so high or so low or whatever. But I like to build the instruments that allow people to get easy and fast access to the data, have the data transformed and cleansed and everything, and put together in a way that allows them to then go find their answers to the questions they have about their data, or to automate procedures like the ones that I was explaining. For example, every month, someone needs to bring in data from the accounting software, and then it comes kind of in a messy format with empty rows and empty columns and stuff that we don't need, and there's people need to clean that, and they do that manually. There's ways of automating that, and once it's done, then the next month the person just needs to put the file on a folder and click a button, and all the process is repeated automatically in just a couple of minutes or even seconds, and the data is ready. So that's the type of thing I like to do. The thing I like to do is to automate tasks in Excel. And I've been doing this since 2000. Well, that first company was in 2016, and I went solo as a sole proprietor since 2018. My clients are medium companies, small companies, and even corporations. I have some contracts going on with corporations. They have a bunch of data analysts there, but people do lack knowledge in Excel. And so for complex projects, they call me to help them with those things. One of the most complex projects I did recently was about automating, bringing in all the data from about 4,000 employees to figure out how much the company could claim for the CUES subsidy provided by the government to support companies. And because the rules are not easy, it was a very interesting project. And so that's it. I've been here in 2019. Like Christine mentioned, I created an Excel group, a meetup group about Excel here in Toronto. And Initially we were meeting in person, then with the pandemic we started meeting online. Currently we are doing sessions once a month. There was a time it was more than that, but we bring speakers from all over the world, and the members are also attending from all over the world. We have over 2,000 members at the moment attending these sessions. And because of this work, I was awarded by Microsoft as a most valuable professional, MVP. That's the award here at the bottom. This is an annual award, so every year we need to prove that we did something for the community, and for that service and our expertise, technical expertise, we may get or not that award renewed. So I just received the award for the second year. This means that I am in contact with the Microsoft engineers, the people who build Excel, and we discuss what in the tool could be improved, what it's not working, the bugs, and give suggestions, all that fun stuff. So then I'll put my contact here later, and enough talking. If you have any questions at any moment, feel free to interrupt, okay? And I'll start a demonstration here. Let me see.
I added a question in the chat.
Sure.
Does this also apply to Google Spreadsheets? Would it be similar or not really?
Google Spreadsheets, what I'm going to explain today, it's tables. I think some of the things work there in a similar way, but I know that they don't. I'm going to talk about Excel tables, and I know they do not have that feature, but they have something similar. But I really don't use Google Sheets much, very little, so I cannot really say what's in there related to what I'm saying today. I'm going to share again, because now I want to share another screen. Okay. And so I'm going to show you a couple of ways that are not so efficient when it comes. Oh, I forget to click the last button. I think it's this one. Can you see my files, File Explorer here?
Yes,
okay.
we can.
Okay, so I'm going to use one example. Let's imagine we need to collect the expenses from our employees. And every month people give us something like this. It could be with more or less expenses here. There's the name of the employee. I just put first name just to make this example easier to follow. We have the manager name there, and the year, and the month. Okay, and then a date, expense category, and an amount, and there's a total here. Excuse me. And we collect these. Let's say we have 4 or 5 employees, and we collect these sheets every month. And then there's different ways of organizing this information. Some people go and put everything in one folder, and if they care to name the files carefully as they are named here, with always the same structure name, year, month, and name. By the way, if you use dates in your files, please consider putting year first, then month, then day, not month first as we say the dates in America, because if you do this, your files will always be sorted. Okay, year first, then month, and then day if you need to put a day. So that's one way. And you can imagine, I don't know if you have gone through this, you can imagine how difficult now it is. Every time someone needs to find something, needs to come here. And if I want to summarize, okay, how much did I pay, or how much were the expenses for this certain category of expenses? We don't have that information out of the box here. It will take us some work. Some people go and do, oh, let me put this by months. So at least it's easier now to find a specific file for a certain month and a certain employee. But again, the information is all split. And putting the information across multiple sheets in one file doesn't get much better. It's interesting. It seems that Are they all the same? Yeah. Or something here is not working well. Anyways, imagine that these sheets were different. It seems that I copied always the same information to here. No, it's changing. Sometimes it changes. But anyways, you can imagine this is just for sample purposes. Imagining having to go through all these sheets to find, and you can do like this. If you have a lot of sheets, one way to find your sheet faster can be coming to this little arrow here, right click, and you have a list of all your sheets, but you can see how many sheets this thing has here. If you click and then okay, you go directly to that sheet. So again, this is not efficient. And finally, there's even another way. Well, there's even more because people get very creative, but another way that people sometimes do to store their information is, oh, I don't want to go through many files, through many folders, so I'm going to put everything, or too many sheets, so I'm going to put everything in one sheet, and there we go. But then it's not easy to find stuff again. So in this case, we have all that information pasted in here, and we have one column per employee and then the months across, so the expenses the employee brought. Okay, so what could be one way of doing this? One way of doing this, and let me show you, and let me just show you one last example that you may identify with this. Another example is to create columns, for example, with months across, and then, or the employees across the columns, and then trying to find, David sent a marketing expense for March, so I need to type here. Or he sent something for April. Also, now I need to come here and add and change the amount because I need to add to the amount that was in here before. This is not easy either, okay? So the concept that I'm proposing is to consider putting everything mixed together into just one table. And that table is where you put your data in. And then if you are concerned about the way you need to see your data, then that's the reporting portion of your project, and you can do that separately. So one thing is how you enter your data, and the best way to enter your data in Excel is using a table, one column separate for each field, and then on a separate file or a separate sheet, you can build your report based on the data that's in that table. Up to what time can I use, Christine, so that I just take control, get an idea of how much time I have?
Till 12:30, 1:30.
1:30. Okay, so I have 20 minutes. Okay, good. So how do we do that? Let me show you one that it's ready, and then hopefully I'll be able to build this with you. Is it possible to hide this thing here at the top? This sharing, this thing here. Oh, stop sharing.
You should be able to drag it around. We can't see it. Only you can see it.
Oh, okay. So if you don't see it, that's fine. Okay. Can you see the file?
Yes, we can.
The Excel file with some buttons?
Correct.
Okay. How many of you, I'm curious, have used these buttons? No one yet? So you're about to learn. This looks very fancy and very difficult. It's not. It's fancy, but it's not difficult. Okay. So the data, I'm going to, if you have trouble with seeing what I'm showing, let me know and I can bring in this Zoom, okay? Just setting this up here, okay. So if you have trouble in seeing, let me know and I can zoom in, okay? Because depends on the device you're using. Okay, so this little button here with like kind of a funnel, a filter as a red cross. I can click that, and that unfilters all my table. And so what I'm proposing is something like this. Okay, I need a date, I need the employee name, I need to know the expense category, I need a description. I can bring the description if I want. If I don't want, I could not bring it. I didn't even filled in that field in my demo files. It could be just a note about the expense and the amount. And then I have here the manager. In this case, I have a formula that finds the manager that corresponds to the employees in this list. This could be a good thing or not, because if employees keep changing the manager because they moved to another team, or the manager just was replaced by someone else, then this formula would not be a good idea, because it would go to the past and change. So this is anyways, but there's ways of going around that. But see what we have here. We have these buttons. I have this table. My first Excel teacher used to call these a long boring list. Long boring list. If you go down, and to go down, by the way, control arrow up goes up to the last row with data, stops where it finds a blank row. And if you go control arrow down, it goes to the bottom. And you see, I have 190 rows with data. And looking at this is not very appealing, because you may say, well, Celia, you were saying that we could not find information. I don't see my information here. It's all together, all mixed, and I want to see things by manager. I want to see things by employee. Well, there's different tools that we can use. One are these buttons here called slicers that we can attach to the tables. And I just want to see things for David. Okay, I click David. Now I have all the expenses for David. I can even have a total row that I put it here at the top, but by default, I will show you how to use that row, how to activate that row. We can have totals, and I can see now I only see the expenses for David. And when we have these blue numbers here on the left, it means that the table was filtered. So there's hidden rows here. I want to see just for 1 month. I can use these buttons here at the top. Let me just zoom in a little bit. I guess it's better like that. We can come here to these buttons that we have at the top and use them to filter. So at the moment you see here, we have a filter applied to the employee column because I clicked here and it's filtering by David in the employee field. I want to filter just for a certain month. Okay, I just want to see January. Okay, there you go. Only one expense for Luke in January. I want to see the expenses for February. Okay, there we go. All the expenses for February presented by Luke. Okay, I want to clear the filter. You can clear here. Now I want to see all the expenses that I need to report to send to a certain manager. Okay, so let's select Layla, one of the managers. And here I see all the employees that report to Layla and the expenses that they presented. So how does this sound to you? Does it seem like something it could be useful for you, for your data?
Yeah, you just have to show me how to
show me the money, like the guy in the movie. Okay, and there's another reporting tool that hopefully we will get there too. That's the pivot tables. You probably have heard of them. Pivot table, this table here has a summary of what I have in this table, and I can change the layout. For, in this case, I have employees, and then I have expense categories, and then I have the months across at the top, and I have these nice slicers here that I can choose in a timeline which months I want to see in my report, March and April in this case. Put this bigger, and I also have the slicers. I can filter by manager, for example. And oh, my boss does not really want to see the months across. He wants to see he wants to see the months here on the left. Okay, so we can do that. We can come to pivot table and come to this field list, and I just need to drag things around. So if I want to put months first before the employees, I can do that. And now I have months, and inside the month I have the employee, and I have the subtotals, but I can take these out of here, and then I have the expenses. Let me just take this out of here, subtotal. Okay, so now we have months first, and we have the employees and the expenses categories, and we can change this layout the way we want. I don't want to see the employees, I just want to report by expense category. Okay, so there you go. You can, let's say, expand everything. Okay, let's expand. There's a way to expand this, but I'm just getting nervous here. So now you can see by month and by expense category under each month. You can change the layout the way you want. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and I'm going to start building this with you. And hopefully you will be able to watch the recording if you want, and then try to follow along. And if you want, Christine, I can send the file for training. If people are interested, let me know, I can send the file. Okay, so how would I do that? I'm going to first start to create the table, and then maybe I'll move to another prepared file that I have there. So new Excel file. This is the MAWB Excel file. Oh, it's already, I already have one here. MAWB 2. Okay, sounds good. And it's a blank, totally fresh Excel spreadsheet. Windows arrow to the right, and then pick up what I want to see on the left. Now I have my screen split in half, and I can work with the two files side by side. So there's ways of importing this information automatically without copying and pasting, but I'm guessing that if you are going to try to apply these in your work, you will go with the copy and paste, and that's fine. So let's just copy, Control C, and then come here, right click. I like to paste this one here that has this little number 1, 2, 3, paste the values. Because like that, I'm not bringing colors, I'm not bringing formats of any kind, the borders or anything, then I'll take care of that later, okay? So I just copy the values. The dates seem to be weird now, but this is the serial number that is used by Excel. So date 1 is January 1st of 1900. The year 1900, yes, January 1st, and then year 2, date 2 is the day after that, and so forth. So this date, 2021, January 4th, is this number. And then we will format this as a date, and it will show as a date. You don't have to worry about that. When you enter a date, you are actually entering something like that in the background. Excel is using that number in the background. Okay, so we would come here, and there's a piece of information important missing here, which is Mary, because I need to know these expenses, who are they for? So I would have to come here and create a column that says maybe employee, and make sure I copy the name Mary into there, or that I type. If I'm going to type, I need to be very careful to always type the name the same way. I don't want to be typing with a space at the end in some cells, and others don't do like that, because then Excel thinks that Mary space is a different person than just Mary. And then when it's time to create our report, it will consider two different people. So then we would have to go copying and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Let me copy another table here just for this demonstration, and then we will go to another more complete scenario. So now we would have here, and I need to say that this is John, and I need to repeat the name throughout all the rows. And you may say, Why do you need to repeat the name? It's so boring. I said, yeah, well, I mentioned it's a long, boring list. We do need to repeat the name in every row. And no, we cannot do this. Some people would come, oh, it's much nicer, just come here and merge and center. Notice what it says. Merging cells only keeps, I don't know if you can see it, only keeps the upper left value and discards other values. So if I click OK, what Excel does is that it puts the value into just one cell. It seems that these are merged and the value is for all the cells, but it's not. This value only belongs to the first cell at the top, and we are even seeing these at the bottom, but we can center the way we want. The value John only belongs to that first row 13, and the other rows are considered blank. This means that if I'm entering my data like that, and then I want to do a report, all these expenses will be ignored. The data Excel won't know to which employee, who is the employee they belong to. Okay, so do not merge and center. You can do that for visual purposes in your reports and things like that, but do not do that when you are entering data. Entering data, you need to repeat the information. If it is the field employee, then you repeat the name as many times as you need to fulfill all the dates, okay? Let me close because our time is coming to an end very fast. Let me close and show you something there is prepared there and that we can use for our work. Let me copy this to a separate sheet here. So after copying and pasting, you would have something like this. I'm going to Control plus, Shift plus, add a row, a column and a row or two here, just to have more space around. And some people would say, oh, if I come here and apply some borders, now I have a table. And to make these dates, let me put this bigger because otherwise you won't see it. To make these dates look like a date, I select the first one, Control Shift down, I go to the last cell, and then I come here and I say short date. Okay, so now I have a date. And some people could think that this is a table because it looks like a table, but it's not what we call an official Excel table. To be an official Excel table, when we click here, we should see a tab here at the top that says table or table design. How do I get that? The easiest way would be to come here in the Home tab. There's Format as Table. So click anywhere in this range of cells, Format as Table, and you can choose different designs from here. And most people think that this is just to improve how our data, so the design of our spreadsheet, but it's much more than that. To delete the formatting that I already have there, I'm going to, for example, choose, I like the black one better. I'm going to choose that one. You can, let me show you something else for you first so that you can see. So you see it does like that. And you can, now we have the table design tab here, and you can activate the banded rows or take them out. And we can activate the filter buttons, take them out, things like that. I'm going to undo and apply the format I prefer, which is the black one. So this one here that has the borders, right click and say apply and clear formatting, because now I can I remove any formatting that I had before. I don't like the banded rows. I'm going to take them out. So here we have our data. If I click here, you see it's showing that little arrow. When I do that, like that, click once, I select everything in the column except the header. If I click again, I select the header. If I click again, without the header. Okay, so let me click this one here. And then in here, I want to come to home and format as currency, for example, to have the amounts looking like money there. Okay, no, not like, sorry, let me, okay. Windows, I'm pressing the wrong key. Okay, so how can I put the slicers here? I can come to table design, and here I have insert slicer, okay? And I want to slice by employee, okay? So I check that, and I have my employee names here. I can increase the number of columns and arrange these buttons and even change the size if I want to. I also have different styles here that I can apply. And now I want to filter the data for David. Okay, I click the button and it shows me only David's data. Okay, so that's how you can. Okay, so now how can I see if I'm missing something for David, because he sent in another expense? I'm not sure if that expense is entered there already or not. I can come to the date field, use the buttons there, and then let's say July. Okay, so I see that he only sent this new this one expense, and there's one for July 31st. And the way to add more data to our table is to just type in the next available row. Okay, so now tab, and you see this little corner here. It's another indicator that this is an Excel table. So it auto expands automatically. Okay, so now I can see, I can type in the expense category. It's very important to always type the categories the same way, for the same reason I explained before with the names, because if we want to be able to then have an easy summary of our data, then the category miscellaneous needs to be always spelled the same way. And David needs to be David, cannot be David sometimes, and Dave other times, okay? We need to, and oh, I did something wrong here, because I copied the row from above, and the row above is hidden. And let's say this is $100. Okay, so this is how I add data. So table design, or not, no need table design, data here, clear filter, or we can also use this button here to clear the filters from the slicer. How do I add data? I can come to the bottom and start adding. So for example, 2021, August 1st, for parking, $2, and it was Sophie. Okay, it starts to autocomplete, and that's fine. You see how when I do date tab, it adds a new row automatically. And I could continue here, adding new expenses. The total row. Oh, another thing that it's nice about tables is you see how the names of the columns changed here. Because I'm working with an Excel table, when I need to scroll down, Excel replaces the names of the columns by the column field names, which is very helpful. And I was going to say, under table design, we have total row that we can put a check mark there. And by default, it creates a total for the last column. Because I don't have quantities here, I have text, then it counts how many rows I have there. But I can come here to this column amount and say, I want the total. sum. I want the sum. Okay, let's enlarge that. So now I see this is the total of this column, but if I filter by an expense category, for example, I want to see education expenses. There we go. We have all the expenses there, and I have the total just for the expenses. If I want, I can come here, select Control X, and then go up and put it there, Control V, because it's usually easier to have the totals at the top, but unfortunately the Excel tables only show the total at the bottom. I still need to come here to the table design and deactivate the total row. Okay, so our time is up. Just 20 seconds and I'll show you how to create a pivot table if you haven't done that yet, and then you can play with it, okay? So select your data anywhere, your table, and come to insert. It can be filtered or not. Let me just unfilter this. Clear, okay. We can come to insert, and then pivot table here. And here you can say a new worksheet, use table 7, that's the name of this table. It's even selecting around the table, and say, okay. It opens up this menu here for you, this placeholder. And here is where you get to select, okay, I want to see employees in the rows, and I want to see the expense category across the columns. And I want to sum the amounts. So you drag it to the values area here, okay? And some of the amounts, if we come to value field settings, you could do count, average, maximum, other things. By default, if it is a number, it will sum the values. So now you have all your report here by employee and by category. And imagine that now you wanted to filter by month. You can insert a timeline, date, okay. And now let's say you just want to see the expenses for July. So you click July and it updates your pivot table showing your values just for July. You want to see since the beginning of, I don't know, January, February, March. You select that, it updates the values for you with the totals here and there and all that. So yeah, so that's it. I could go on and on and on and on, but our time is over and 3 minutes over. Thank you for your patience. Any questions?
That was amazing. Thank you.
Wow. I think I said wow like 5 times in the chat box. It is crazy what you can do with these tables once you actually apply the table setting.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's my cause in the Excel world, is to tell people about tables. And with Microsoft, one of the things that I am in contact with them constantly is about tables and making tables work even better than they do, because there's still, when you start to using them at an advanced level, there's things that need improvement, and that's what I'm pitching all the time about, is about tables. Yeah, and once you start using tables, then the sky is the limit, because then you can even have different tables in separate sheets and create a pivot table bringing data from different tables, and as long as you create a relationship between them. So for example, if you have one column with sales, one table with sales, and you have the product information on a separate sheet, and you want a report by product color, for example, if you create the proper relationship between the tables, then you can create those reports the way you need them to be. So yes, so I do encourage you to start using there's one important thing I need to tell you, because if you start using tables, you will get confused about the formulas. I have a list here that says who the manager is for each employee. let's imagine that in my table here, where is it? This table that we just built. Let's imagine that I want to bring in the manager that I didn't copy from my reports, from my expense sheets, and I want the manager to be automatic. Because I know the manager is always the same, I can create a formula here. Some of you may know this formula, VLOOKUP. I want to look up the employee. The employee is in cell F4. But watch what happens to the formula now when I click F4. When I click F4, instead of typing F4 there, it types in the name of the field, the name of the column, which is very convenient when you start to be acquainted with using tables, but the first time may be confusing for you. So what this means is, look up what's in column employee, and the @ sign means in the same row where I am typing in the formula. So look for the employee, comma, where do you want to look for the employee? I want to look for the employee in this table here. This is also a table. And because I gave a name to the table managers, instead of writing the range C6 to D13, it types in the name of the table, comma, I want to bring in the second column that gives me the manager, comma, and I want to be a false to say exact match. Enter. This should have go automatically down, but because I changed the setting, it didn't go. Usually, when you type a formula in a table, it will go automatically down, 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 all till the end. So if you come here and type a new expense, and you say this expense is for Luke, automatically the formula comes down and says, oh, look, the manager is Leila. So that's another advantage in tables, is that the formulas are automatically filled throughout the column immediately. And that can be a good thing, sometimes can be confusing depending if you want to be messing around, oh, I need to change because the formula here does not apply. Then there's ways to work around that, but just be aware of that when you start working with formulas, the language that Excel uses here will be a bit different. Okay. And the table name, where is that table name? So here, when I created the table, if I come to table design, Excel named this table as table 7. But I can give this table the name I want. So for example, this is the table for the expenses. I can call it expenses. Oh, it went away. So, okay, type there and click enter. And now that's the name of your table. So that's why when I type the formula here, instead of saying C2 to D12 or whatever the range was, it typed in, it gave me the name of this list here. So this table here, you see the name of the table is managers. If I change the name, the formula will update, will change automatically. Okay, put me some tape because I won't shut up.
Okay, yeah, she asked if you had any questions. Does anybody have any questions that stand out to you right now? Thoughts on what she did? Anything you want to add in?
I'm doing a spreadsheet right now for my inventory of all my furniture and decor items. But I'm wondering, because this is great, because the filter is going to help me a lot. But I'm just wondering, I have images in there. How does it, would the images go with it? Or do you know?
There's ways of working with images. But you were saying that you were using Google Sheets?
I did it in Excel.
Okay. Google Sheets, in fact, I think they work. I've heard, I don't know how to do that, but I've heard that with the images, they work better because they accommodate the picture in the cell, and in Excel, it's a little bit more tricky, but it's possible. If you want to send me an email, then I can find a couple of tutorials and send you that information so that you can learn how to do that.
Oh, excellent.
And one thing that people do a lot with inventory is they tend to do like this. They tend to have one sheet for what they have in storage, and then they cut and paste. So they delete when an item goes to sold or goes to another status, they cut the row from here and they have a separate sheet for, let's say, inventory on stage or inventory lost or whatever. And they have this work of cutting and paste from one sheet to the other. Don't do that. Create a new column that says status. And you may say status 1, it's available. Status 2 is on stage, or status 2 is lost or was sold. You can create all those status and create those things here. And you can have a drop-down list to select from the different options. I can also send you a tutorial how to create those drop-down lists. It's very easy to do. Okay, so that helps you with not typing things different ways by mistake.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Actually, that does lead to my question, which I just put into the chat box. Is do you have on your YouTube channel, I know you have a lot of tutorials. Do you have more tutorials on creating tables, using tables, like the demonstration you showed today?
I do have, usually my tutorials are a bit more focused on Excel automation, so they are a bit more advanced. Let me bring your faces in front of me so that I can look in front of the camera. Okay, and but I do have two live classes. It's about more than 1 hour each. I was doing that before. Now I'm not doing that as much. About this topic of, one thing is how you enter your data. Another thing is how you show your data. And I can send you those links if you have the patience to go through. I think it's worth the time, because that's how you need to do with everything, right? So it's not just with Excel. Anything we want to be better at our work, we need to put in some time to learn. So I can send the live classes, the links for that.
Great. I will include this information with the replay.
And I'll put some drop down tutorials. So to create a drop down lists. What else was it? Oh, pictures. Some of those will not be my tutorials, but I follow other channels. I can send you those links from other people. There's a lot of good content for who wants to learn Excel, for sure.
Excellent. Okay, so I have copied and pasted your contact information again, all your handles.
Thank you.
I hope you saw that there, Tovi. And I will send that again in the email with the replay. I'm hoping to download, render this file and upload it to YouTube this afternoon, but I am out in the country, so sometimes long files get interrupted and then I have to start over again, but I do my best to have it done this afternoon.
Nice.
All
yeah,
right.
And feel free to reach out if you have any questions, any struggles that I can help you with. I'm happy to help. Sometimes people send me questions and I end up recording a video and putting it on my YouTube channel, and that's the way I can help them and help other people with the same question. So as long as I find a little bit of time to do that, I'm happy to do it to help anyone. Okay.
Thank you so much, Celia. I feel like I've just watched the magic show. And
oh yeah, Excel is life.
now I have to go try it out. And I'm just, wow, like Christine said, I'm just like, I had no idea that I could do
this. Is just this little tiny piece.
But I'm already amazed.
Yeah, I'm glad that you enjoyed, because that was my goal, that you become aware. The greatest challenge with Excel is that people learned a few things and they imagine that Excel is what they know about it. Mm-hmm. And they have no idea that it's possible to do so many more things, so better things with it. And I know that because I was like that for 20 years. For 20 years, I thought I was the queen of Excel with the little things I knew to do in Excel as a teacher. And I really was the queen of Excel at my school because I had all these crazy, nice charts and reports and all that no one else was using, doing. So that was already very cool. But once I started to realize that there so much more is possible, then it's when we start to search and learn and learn and learn. It's a never-ending story. So I don't know everything. No one in the world knows everything about Excel. We just keep learning, and depending on the tasks that we get, we learn different things. So it's a never-ending story, like I was saying. Thank you so much for your time, and very nice to meet you. And I'll be reaching out to Ellen for sure. And hopefully we will cross paths again anytime soon.
All right. Excellent job. Thank you so much. You're going to get her information. And if you don't already have it, certainly you can go to the MAWB and find it and reach out to Celia if you have any questions or want to book a one-on-one with her. But definitely check out our YouTube channel and look for that email in the next, I will say 48 hours to allow myself some breathing space. And good luck, everyone. And thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.